Peace does not come when the world becomes quiet. It comes when the mind learns to let go. Buddhist teaching. There comes a moment in life when you realize the real battlefield is not outside, it's inside your own mind. The noise, the doubts, the endless what if never needed your permission to enter. They simply arrived, uninvited, and over time they built a home inside you. Maybe you felt it. The body is still, but the mind is racing, replaying old conversations, imagining problems that haven't happened, questioning every choice you've made. And while the world around you sleeps, your thoughts keep dragging you into a storm you never wanted. As we grow older, the questions change shape and they cut deeper. Am I walking the right path? Why does my mind hold on to everything? Is inner peace even possible for me now? You are not alone. Millions of people feel this silent pressure, this invisible weight that meditation teachers have described for centuries. Buddhism calls it the suffering created by the mind. A suffering that doesn't come from life itself, but from the way we think about life. But here lies the hope. The mind can be taught to release, to soften, to return to calm. Overthinking is not who you are, it's a habit your mind learned. And what has been learned can be unlearned. In this journey, you will discover 6 Buddhist teachings that have helped countless people loosen the grip of their thoughts and reclaim a deeper, quieter peace within. Let's begin. 1. Living in the present moment. You often find yourself caught between two worlds, the weight of what has already happened and the fear of what has yet to come. Disappointment pulls you back into yesterday, whispering what could have been. Anxiety pushes you forward into tomorrow, filling your mind with endless possibilities of what might go wrong. And while your thoughts run in every direction, something precious slips away. The only moment where life truly unfolds, the present. In the quiet teachings of the Buddha, you are gently reminded, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. These words are not a command, but an invitation. An invitation to step out of the storms inside your mind and anchor yourself in the one place where peace is always waiting for you, right here, right now. When you live anywhere else but the present, your mind becomes crowded. Overthinking grows roots. You replay conversations that cannot be changed. You imagine scenarios that may never happen. You exhaust yourself trying to rewrite what is gone or control what has not yet arrived. But when you bring your awareness back to this moment, something begins to soften within you. Your breath becomes slower. Your thoughts become lighter. Your heart begins to settle. Imagine walking along a riverbank with a wise monk. As you approach the rushing water, fear rises inside you. You wonder if the current will sweep you away, if the rocks beneath the water will trip your steps, if the other side is too far to reach. But the monk crosses calmly, step by step, fully present with each movement. Seeing your hesitation, he turns to you and says, "The river always flows, but the only way to cross is by being fully here." And in that simple moment, you understand your fears belong to another time, but your strength lives in this breath, this step, this moment. The present is not just a place, it is a refuge. A sanctuary where your mind stops chasing shadows and returns to what is real. There is another story, ancient and simple, that reveals this truth in a single, unforgettable image. A man once fell from a cliff. Above him, a fierce tiger paced, waiting for him to climb back up. Below him, another tiger waited at the bottom. With nowhere to escape and only a fragile vine holding him, he noticed a small, wild strawberry growing from the rock beside him. Its color glowed vividly in the fading light. He reached out, plucked it, and tasted it. "How sweet it is," he said. In the middle of danger, surrounded by fear, unable to change his fate, he still found something beautiful, something alive, something offered only in that single moment. The sweetness of the strawberry was not a denial of danger. It was a reminder that even in uncertainty, the present moment can still nourish you. It can still give you something real, something peaceful, something that overthinking will always blind you to. When you reflect on this story, you begin to see that the present moment, however small, contains the fullness of life, not the past that no longer exists, not the future your mind keeps trying to shape, but this breath, this heartbeat, this single point of awareness where you can truly touch your own existence. Overthinking happens because your mind leaves the present. It runs into the shadows of things that are not happening right now. But the moment you return to what is directly in front of you, your mind loosens its grip. The storm quiets, the fog lifts, the weight inside you begins to dissolve, and you rediscover something you may have forgotten. Peace was never gone. You were simply not here to feel it. You can begin returning to the present in small, gentle ways. You can close your eyes and take one mindful breath, slow, steady, and full. You can listen to the sounds around you without judgment. You can feel the rise and fall of your chest, the ground beneath your feet, the subtle sensations moving through your body. You can write a few lines each day about the moment you are living right now, what you see, what you feel, what is real in this exact breath. These simple practices are not escapes from life. They are steps back into it. And every time you return to the present, you strengthen the part of you that can stay calm, centered, and aware even when life becomes uncertain. In learning to live in the present moment, you give yourself the gift of clarity. You give yourself the freedom to stop carrying the past and the courage to stop fearing the future. You give yourself the chance to feel the sweetness of the strawberry in your own life. And slowly, gently, you begin to realize that peace is not found by trying to control time. Peace is found by returning to the place where life is truly happening. This single, sacred moment you are living right now. 2. Stop fighting what you can't control. You have spent so much of your life trying to hold everything together, trying to fix, predict, manage, and control every detail around you. And yet, the more tightly you hold on, the more your mind begins to spin. Overthinking grows not from what happens to you, but from the exhausting struggle to force life to match your expectations. You worry about what might come. You replay what has already passed. You try to shape situations and people into versions that feel safe. But the truth is gentle and unavoidable. Not everything is meant to be in your hands. And the more you resist this truth, the more your heart feels strained and tired. When you begin to see the limits of control, something inside you softens. You realize that peace does not come from rearranging the world outside you. Peace comes from releasing the grip of the mind, from loosening the knots that overthinking has tied around your chest. Buddhism teaches that suffering does not come from the events of life themselves, but from the way you cling to them. You cling to how things should be. You cling to people acting the way you want. You cling to outcomes that refuse to unfold on your timeline. And every time life moves in a different direction, your mind fights back, creating storms of tension, doubt, and fear. But when you stop wrestling with what cannot be controlled, a quieter space opens within you. A space where you can breathe again. A space where acceptance becomes a form of freedom. In the teachings passed down over centuries, there is a simple story that holds a powerful truth. It speaks directly to your heart and shows you how much weight you carry without realizing it. 2 monks were traveling together, walking along a muddy path after heavy rain. The ground was soft and deep, and the journey was slow. As they reached a wide pool of muddy water, they saw a young woman standing at the edge. She hesitated, unable to step across without soiling her fine clothes. Without a word, the older monk lifted her gently in his arms and carried her across the puddle. He set her down on the dry ground, offered a soft smile, and continued walking. The younger monk followed behind, silent but unsettled. Hours passed. The forest path stretched on, the sun shifted overhead, and still he said nothing. But inside him, a storm was growing. He replayed the moment, again and again. Why did the elder touch the woman? Why break the rule? Why act so freely? Finally, Unable to hold the frustration any longer, he turned to the older monk and said, "You know we are not supposed to touch women. Why did you do that?" The older monk looked at him calmly and replied, "Brother, I put the girl down miles ago. Why are you still carrying her?" And in that moment, the younger monk understood. You may also find yourself carrying things long after they have ended: conversations, disappointments, fears, judgments, imagined scenarios, arguments that never happened, outcomes that never arrived. Life puts something down, but the mind keeps holding it. You suffer not because of the moment itself, but because you continue to carry the moment long after it has passed. When you replay what cannot be changed, when you cling to what is no longer in front of you, when you hold on to worries that have no substance, you exhaust your own spirit. The weight is not in the situation, the weight is in your grasp. The story of the monks invites you to look gently within and ask, what am I still carrying? What have I held on to for far too long? As you sit with these questions, you may begin to realize that control has always been an illusion you were taught to depend on. You believed that if you tried hard enough, if you worried long enough, if you planned carefully enough, you could prevent pain, disappointment, or uncertainty. But life does not bend to force. Life flows, and the more you try to resist that flow, the more turbulence you create inside yourself. Imagine standing in a river, pushing against the current with all your strength. Your muscles tighten, your breath shortens, your heart strains. Yet the water keeps moving anyway. You become tired not because of the water, but because of the struggle. Now imagine releasing your resistance. The water still moves, but you are no longer fighting it, and suddenly everything becomes lighter. When you let go of the illusion of control, you stop pouring energy into battles you cannot win. You stop trying to push a boulder that will not move. There is a teaching that says, sometimes the most powerful action is to stop acting against reality, to allow life to unfold without forcing it, to trust that not everything needs your intervention. There is strength in effort, but there is deeper strength in surrender. When you surrender, you are not giving up. You are giving yourself peace. You begin to understand that letting go is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is a return to your natural state, a state where your mind is clear, your heart is open, and your inner world is no longer shaped by fear. And from this calm place, you see with new eyes. You begin to notice the difference between what belongs to you and what does not. You see the boundary between effort and attachment. You see the line between caring and controlling. Slowly, you learn that some things are simply not meant to be held, and when you stop holding them, they stop hurting you. As you breathe gently now, allow this understanding to settle into your heart. You cannot control how others act. You cannot control the past. You cannot control the unfolding of every situation, but you can choose how you relate to these things. You can choose not to carry what drains your spirit. You can choose to put down the burdens that were never yours to hold. You can choose peace over resistance. And this choice, the choice to let go, brings a powerful sense of clarity. It invites you back to yourself. It frees the mind from the endless cycles of overthinking. You begin to understand that what you release does not diminish you, it frees you. If you wish to take this teaching into your daily life, you might begin with a simple practice. Sit quietly for a moment and make 2 lists. In the first, write what you can control: your actions, your intentions, your presence, your words, your breath. In the second, write what you cannot: the past, the future, the behavior of others, the outcomes of situations, the movement of life. Look at these lists with gentle honesty, and then whisper to yourself, I choose not to hold what is not mine. This simple statement is a doorway. It leads you back to your center. It helps you soften the mind's grip. It reminds you that peace comes not from control, but from acceptance. As you practice this again and again, you will feel something shift inside you. The world does not become easier, life does not become perfect, but you become free. You begin to walk with a lighter heart, a calmer mind, and a deeper trust in the unfolding of things. When you stop fighting what you cannot control, you reclaim the energy that was always meant for your healing, and in that quiet space, you discover the peace that has been waiting for you all along. 3. Simplicity is the key to happiness. In a world overflowing with noise, movement, and endless expectations, you often carry far more than your heart was ever meant to hold. Your days fill themselves with tasks, obligations, and distractions, each one demanding a piece of your attention until your inner space becomes crowded and heavy. Yet within you, there is a quiet place that longs for openness, stillness, and gentle clarity. That place awakens when you begin to embrace the power of simplicity. Happiness is not hidden in distant achievements or in the things you chase tirelessly. It is not waiting for you in the next accomplishment, the next purchase, the next improvement of yourself. Happiness lives in the way you move through each moment with lightness, presence, and awareness. It is not a destination. It is the path beneath your feet, the breath you are taking right now, the clarity that arises when you no longer overload your life with what does not matter. When you simplify, you return to what is true. When you simplify, you come home to yourself. The ancient Zen understanding of Shibumi reflects this truth. The quiet beauty found in simple things, the graceful ease that emerges when nothing is forced and nothing is excessive. It is the elegance of less, the peaceful space where meaning grows naturally. The essence of simplicity lies not in removing life's richness, but in clearing a path so you can finally see it. And sometimes, the teachings of simplicity arrive gently, through stories that help you look inward without fear. There was once a young student who came to his master seeking wisdom. His mind was crowded, restless, overflowing with questions, doubts, and countless thoughts. He sat before the master, speaking rapidly, explaining everything he wanted to learn, everything he believed he understood, everything he hoped to become. The master listened quietly, then lifted a teapot and poured tea into the student's cup. The tea rose to the brim, then began to spill over the edges, dripping down onto the table. Startled, the student exclaimed, "Master, stop! The cup is overflowing." The old master looked at him gently and said, "Your mind is like this cup, so full that nothing more can enter. Empty yourself, and only then will you be able to receive." In that simple moment, the student understood that wisdom cannot enter a mind drowning in its own noise. Just like tea cannot pour into a cup that is already full, peace cannot enter a mind that never stops racing. This story offers you a mirror. When your thoughts are too crowded, you cannot absorb clarity. When your life becomes too full, you cannot feel peace. When your attention is scattered across too many worries, nothing can truly settle inside you. Simplicity is not about losing anything meaningful. It is about making space for what genuinely matters. When the mind becomes spacious, insight naturally appears. When your life becomes lighter, joy naturally rises. To simplify is to release the burdens that keep you from returning to yourself. It invites you to loosen your grip on everything: unnecessary possessions, expectations, old stories, and mental clutter. You may not always notice how much weight you are carrying. You may not realize how exhaustion builds quietly, how pressure grows slowly, how the mind becomes tangled one small worry at a time. But as you pause and breathe, you begin to feel the difference between heaviness and lightness, between excess and essence. Simplicity is permission to let yourself breathe again. You begin to understand that you do not need more things. You do not need more tasks, more achievements, or more approval. What you truly need is space. Space to think clearly, space to feel deeply, space to be present with your own existence. When you allow your life to become simpler, you discover how much beauty was always there but hidden beneath the clutter. A quiet morning, a meaningful conversation, the warmth of the sun on your skin, the feeling of being unburdened, even if just for a moment. Simplicity reveals that these gentle moments carry more truth than anything complicated ever could. And in this discovery, a deep, inner freedom begins to grow. The spiritual insight behind simplification is not about reducing your life mechanically. It is about softening the grip of the mind. A cluttered room reflects a cluttered mind. A cluttered schedule reflects a scattered heart. When you clean your space, your inner world becomes clearer. When you choose only 3 meaningful tasks instead of 10 demanding ones, your energy flows with intention instead of chaos. The act of simplifying is itself a form of healing. You begin to see which responsibilities are real and which ones are simply fear wearing a mask. You begin to recognize which thoughts nourish you and which thoughts drain you. You notice where your attention goes and whether it brings peace or tension. Every small act of simplification brings you a step closer to your authentic self. And as your life becomes lighter, your mind becomes still. You start to hear the whisper of your true nature, a quiet voice beneath all the noise. It tells you that nothing outside you can bring lasting peace. Peace grows inside you the moment you stop carrying what is unnecessary. As you release the mental clutter, you discover that clarity is not something you must chase. It is something that naturally rises when your inner space is no longer blocked. Like a lake that becomes calm when the winds settle, your mind becomes clear when your attachments soften. And in this clarity, you see your life for what it truly is: beautiful, fleeting, and filled with moments that deserve your full presence. Simplicity teaches you that freedom comes not from adding more, but from needing less. It invites you to choose what truly matters and let the rest fall away gently. It invites you to trust that you are enough, even when you do less. It invites you to live your life with intention, with calm, and with a sense of meaning that cannot be found anywhere outside yourself. As you walk forward from this chapter, allow yourself to soften. Let the things you no longer need slip from your hands without resistance. Choose 3 important tasks instead of 10. Clear one corner of your room and notice how your breath becomes easier. Give yourself permission to create space. Space in your mind, in your heart, in your life. In that space, happiness waits for you. In that space, you reconnect with your own essence. And as you live more simply, you begin to move through the world with a quiet grace. You feel lighter, more grounded, more aligned with the rhythm of your own being. Simplicity is not the absence of richness, it is the doorway to it. When you embrace it, happiness stops being something distant and becomes the gentle light guiding your steps in every moment. 4. Your thoughts come and go. They don't define you. When you begin to look within, you may notice how easily your mind fills with movement, thoughts rising like waves, drifting like clouds, appearing and disappearing before you even have time to name them. And yet, for most of your life, you may have believed that these thoughts were you, that every fear, every worry, every memory, every story your mind whispered was a reflection of your true nature. But as you walk deeper into the landscape of awareness, something gentler and more liberating begins to reveal itself. Your mind is like the open sky, and your thoughts are only passing clouds, temporary, shifting, never staying long enough to define who you are. When you start to see thoughts this way, you soften. You loosen your grip on them. You stop chasing the ones you long for and stop running from the ones that scare you. Your awareness becomes the steady sky, calm, vast, untouched, while the thoughts simply move across it, coming and going on their own. You begin to realize that you are not the storm. You are the sky behind the storm. And this understanding marks the beginning of freedom. To feel this truth more deeply, imagine yourself sitting beside a river. The water flows gently before you, carrying leaves that drift past one by one. Each leaf moves at its own pace. Some glide softly, some spin, some move quickly, and others pause against small currents. You watch them without reaching out, without trying to hold them. You simply allow them to pass. And in this moment, you see the reflection of your own mind. Each thought is a leaf on the water, appearing, drifting, disappearing. You do not need to grab it. You do not need to fight it. You only need to observe with quiet acceptance. Overthinking loosens its grip when you stop believing you must control or respond to every thought that arises. You begin to understand that your thoughts do not need your permission to come, nor your effort to leave. They are already moving, already passing, already dissolving into silence. And as you witness this, a deep sense of peace begins to grow inside you. To understand this truth even more clearly, imagine another story, simple but profoundly revealing. A man is rowing his small boat across a calm lake. The morning fog sits low on the water, and everything feels still. Suddenly, another boat collides with his. Shocked, he turns around and immediately bursts into anger, ready to blame the person he believes has been careless. But when he looks closely, he sees that the other boat is empty. No one is inside. The boat had merely drifted with the current, moved by the wind, pushed by forces beyond its control. In that moment, something inside him shifts. His anger evaporates. His frustration melts into understanding. The boat was empty. There was no one to blame, no intention behind the collision. It was simply an event, neutral, unplanned, without meaning until he gave it meaning. And with this realization, peace returns. When you reflect on this story, you may begin to see your own thoughts in the same way. They drift into your mind like the empty boat, without intention, without direction, without anyone steering them. They collide with your awareness, but only become painful when you assume they mean something about you. A thought appears, you are not enough. Another follows, everything will go wrong. Another arrives, you should have done better. But each of these thoughts is just an empty boat. They have no master, no truth carved into them, no purpose other than passing through the space of your mind. When you stop assuming they carry meaning, when you stop treating them as messages carved into stone, you free yourself from their weight. Feelings begin to soften, reactions dissolve before they can take root, and you return to a deeper truth. You are the witness, not the storm. You are the sky, not the cloud. You are the awareness, not the thought. With this understanding, a quiet wisdom blooms within you. You begin to see that thoughts do not define you. They never have. They arise from habits, memories, old conditioning, or passing emotions. They can reflect fear, longing, confusion, or imagination. But they are never the essence of who you are. Your true nature is the one who sees, the one who notices without judgment, the one who remains steady even as thoughts swirl. When you recognize this, you stop wrestling with your own mind. You stop believing that every thought demands your attention. You stop identifying with every story your mind creates. And in this gentle shift, your inner world becomes lighter, the mind becomes clearer, your heart becomes softer. You give yourself the permission to simply be. This clarity deepens when you reflect on how much suffering comes not from the thought itself, but from the meaning you attach to it. A thought is just a thought, light, fleeting, neutral. But when you cling to it, fear it, resist it, or build a story around it, you turn an empty boat into a monster. You paint intention onto something that has none. You give weight to something that is, by nature, weightless. And so much of your overthinking melts away the moment you remember that a thought is not a command, it is not a prophecy, it is not evidence of your worth or your failure. It is simply movement in the mind, no different from a cloud drifting across the sky or a leaf floating down a river. When you see thoughts this way, your reactions soften, your emotions regulate, your inner space expands. You breathe more easily, more deeply, more freely, and the mind that once felt chaotic begins to settle into stillness, like water returning to calm. As you train yourself to observe thoughts rather than absorb them, you naturally begin to shift your language. Instead of saying, "I am worried," you begin to say, "There is a worried thought passing through." Instead of, "I am sad," you whisper, "A feeling of sadness is visiting." Instead of, "I am anxious," you acknowledge, "An anxious thought is moving through my mind." This subtle change opens a powerful doorway within you, It separates your identity from your experience. It reminds you that you are not defined by what passes through your awareness. You are the awareness itself, vast, quiet, spacious, unbroken. And when you live from this place, you stop drowning in your own thoughts. You start floating above them with gentle clarity. You begin to feel stronger, more grounded, more at peace. With each breath, you learn to let thoughts move. With each moment, you understand them a little better. And with each day, you grow more familiar with your true nature, the calm presence beneath the noise. When you live from this deeper awareness, the world feels less heavy. The mind feels less crowded. The heart feels less burdened. You no longer fear your thoughts because you see them for what they are. Passing clouds in a sky that has always been open, limitless and free. And as these truths settle into your being, you step into a gentle empowerment. You begin to walk through life with clarity, knowing that no thought can define you, no emotion can control you, and no moment of mental noise can diminish the quiet strength within you. You carry the understanding that everything arising in your mind is temporary, and that your true self remains spacious and steady, always guiding you back to peace. 5. Practice mindfulness. Anchor yourself in your breath. There comes a moment in your life when the weight of your thoughts becomes too heavy to carry. You feel it in the tension across your shoulders, in the shallow rhythm of your breath, in the restless movement of your mind that refuses to settle. You may look for peace in many places through effort, distraction, or analysis, but peace has never lived in the noise. Peace has always lived in your awareness, waiting quietly beneath the surface, patient as the earth. Mindfulness is the doorway that brings you back to this inner home. It is not something you force, nor something you chase. It is the gentle act of returning to yourself without judgment, without pressure, without expectation. When you practice mindfulness, you give yourself permission to simply be. You allow your thoughts to rise and fall like waves on a vast ocean without needing to hold them, fix them, or fight them. You rest in the truth that you do not have to control everything. You only need to be present with what is here, right now. Your breath becomes your anchor. It is the one constant in your life, the quiet companion that has walked with you through every moment, joyful or painful, peaceful or overwhelming. When the Buddha taught, "When the mind is calm, the breath is calm," he was pointing to the sacred bridge between your inner world and your outer actions. The breath reflects your mind, and your mind responds to your breath. When you soften your breathing, you soften your life. When you return to your breath, you return to yourself. You might notice how often the mind runs ahead of you. It replays conversations, imagines outcomes, and creates stories that leave you exhausted. But the breath never runs ahead. It stays here, steady, soft, patient. Each inhale invites you back to your body, and each exhale invites you to release the burdens you no longer need to carry. As you begin to pay attention to this gentle rhythm, you start to sense the world slowing down around you. Your inner space widens, your awareness deepens, and for the first time in a long time, you breathe with simplicity. To understand mindfulness more clearly, imagine a simple yet profound moment shared between a seeker and a wise teacher. A person once asked a master, "What did you do before you awakened?" The master replied, "I chopped wood and carried water." The seeker continued, "And what did you do after your awakening?" The master smiled, "I chopped wood and carried water." This story carries a truth that quietly transforms your understanding of life. Enlightenment does not change what you do. It changes how you do it. It changes the heart you bring into each act. Before awakening, the master chopped wood with a busy mind, carried water with restless thoughts, and lived each day while longing for another moment. After awakening, the same actions remained, but the mind inside them changed. Every swing of the axe, every step made with the water buckets, became a meditation, a moment of pure presence. In the same way, the tasks in your life do not need to change for you to find peace. You do not need to climb mountains, retreat into forests, or escape from daily responsibilities. Your awakening begins exactly where you are, in the simple truth that presence transforms everything it touches. When you wash a dish with mindfulness, the warm water, the movement of your hands, the clarity of the moment becomes a form of meditation. When you drive with mindfulness, the rhythm of the road, the steady unfolding of scenery, the quiet awareness of being alive becomes peace. When you eat with mindfulness, every flavor becomes richer, every moment becomes fuller, every breath becomes a blessing. And when you breathe with mindfulness, you discover the sanctuary that has always been yours. There is something powerful that happens when you understand that true peace does not come from rearranging your life. True peace comes from rearranging your attention. You stop chasing after the next thing. You stop fighting your thoughts. You stop searching for answers outside yourself. You begin to step into the quiet that was waiting behind your breath all along. Mindfulness teaches you that you don't have to silence your thoughts. You don't have to force your mind to be empty. All you need is to be aware. Awareness itself is healing. It softens the edges of your emotions. It loosens the grip of anxiety. It helps you feel grounded in your body instead of lost in your mind. There may be days when your thoughts feel overwhelming, but even then, your breath is available. There may be days when your emotions rise like storms, but even then, your breath remains steady. There may be days when you feel disconnected from everything around you, but even then, your breath whispers, "Come back, come home." To deepen this practice, begin with a simple 5-minute breathing anchor. Sit comfortably, soften your shoulders, close your eyes if that feels safe. Take a slow inhale and feel the breath entering you. Hold it gently for a moment, like you are holding something precious. Then exhale slowly, allowing the tension to melt out of your body. As you breathe, notice where the air moves. Does it fill your chest or your belly? Does it feel warm or cool? Does the breath move smoothly, or is it slightly uneven? Let whatever you observe be enough. With every inhale, you return. With every exhale, you release. Let your breath guide you, not as a command, but as an invitation. If thoughts arise, which they will acknowledge them softly and return to your breath without judgment. Think of each inhale as a hand reaching toward the present moment, and each exhale as a gentle letting go of the past and future. As this practice becomes part of your daily life, you may notice a shift. Tasks feel lighter, moments feel richer. Life feels less like a race and more like a path you can walk with steady steps. You begin to realize the beauty of living slowly, of noticing more, of appreciating the small holiness in everyday moments. Mindfulness is not an escape from your life. It is the way you step fully into it. When your awareness deepens, you begin to understand that each moment, not the future, not the past, but the moment you are in right now, is your true home. And when you anchor yourself in your breath, you root yourself in a place nothing can disturb. Let yourself feel this truth gently. Peace is not something you must seek. Peace is something you return to. It has always been inside you, waiting patiently for your attention. Mindfulness is the path that brings you back. As you continue this journey, may your breath guide you toward greater clarity. May your awareness soften your pain. May your presence illuminate your path. And may you remember, in every moment, that you can always anchor yourself in the quiet truth of your own breath. 6. Trust in impermanence. Your struggles will pass. You are invited now into a quiet space within yourself, a space where the weight of your worries can gently soften. As you listen, let your breath settle and allow your heart to open to a truth that has carried countless beings through the most difficult moments of life. Nothing lasts forever. Not your pain, not your fear, not the heaviness in your chest. Every experience rises, unfolds, and eventually fades. Just as the seasons shift without needing your permission, your inner world is always changing, always moving, always transforming into something new. When you begin to see this clearly, overthinking loosens its grip, and you find yourself resting in a deeper kind of peace, one that doesn't depend on circumstances, but on your understanding of impermanence. You have carried many emotions in your life. Some have been painful, so heavy that you wondered if they would ever end. Others have been joyful, bright moments that made you wish they could last forever. But if you look closely, you will notice the same truth behind both. Neither stayed. They came, and then they left. They rose, and then they fell. Impermanence is not a threat. It is the very force that allows healing after hurt, dawn after darkness, new strength after old wounds. When you understand that everything is in motion, you stop fearing the present moment because you know it cannot trap you. You stop clinging to the past because you know it cannot return. And you stop torturing your mind with imagined futures because you understand that whatever comes will also move on. To help you see this truth more clearly, imagine an ancient king, a powerful ruler who believed that with enough wisdom, he could remain unshaken by anything life brought him. But despite his wealth and his influence, he struggled just like you do. He felt joy that made him restless, longing for it to remain. He felt pain that made him anxious, afraid it would stay forever. He could not find peace in either extreme, so he called upon the finest craftsman in his kingdom and gave him a task: to create a ring, a simple ring that would help him remain calm in every circumstance. Victory or defeat, pleasure or sorrow, clarity or confusion. After many days, the craftsman returned with a plain ring of silver. At first glance, it looked ordinary, nothing special. But when the king turned it in his hand, he noticed an inscription carved delicately along the inside. 4 simple words: "This too shall pass." As he read them, something shifted inside him. He understood that no moment could define him because no moment could stay. And in that understanding, he found a steady peace that neither success nor failure could shake. Let this story speak gently to your own heart. Whatever you are carrying right now, whatever fear, grief, tension, or uncertainty, it is not permanent. You may feel it deeply. You may wrestle with it in the quiet hours of the night, but it will not stay as it is. It is already changing, already softening, already teaching you something that you will only understand fully when you look back one day. Even the emotions that feel overwhelming have edges that dissolve over time. They pass through you like waves, no matter how big. And just as you have survived storms before, you will survive this one too. When you embrace impermanence, you embrace freedom. You no longer cling desperately to what brings pleasure, nor fearfully resist what brings discomfort. You begin to see both joy and pain as teachers, temporary, shifting, always encouraging you to open your heart a little more. You learn to breathe through the difficult moments, knowing they are not the full story of your life. You learn to appreciate the good moments without trying to trap them or make them last longer than they can. You learn to step into each day with softness instead of tension, curiosity instead of fear. And in this awareness, your relationship with overthinking changes. Instead of spiraling into worst-case scenarios, you begin to ask yourself simple, grounding questions. Will this matter in a week? In a month? In a year? Is this moment asking me to resist or to release? What is already beginning to shift inside this feeling? Impermanence becomes a lantern guiding you back to balance. When sadness appears, you welcome it with compassion, knowing it will move. When anxiety surfaces, you breathe into it, knowing it cannot hold its shape forever. When uncertainty arises, you soften, knowing that clarity will return in its own time. Nothing stays fixed, nothing stays frozen, nothing stays unchanged. Let yourself reflect gently now. Think of 5 moments in your past, 5 situations that once caused you deep pain, moments you thought you would never overcome. Let them come to mind, one by one. And as they appear, notice what has happened to each of them. They passed, they transformed, they shifted into something else. Some became lessons. Some became memories that no longer hurt. Some became strength you carry without even realizing it. And some simply faded away, leaving no trace except a quieter, wiser version of you. This reflection is not meant to minimize your current struggles, but to remind you that you are not trapped by them. You have walked through fire before. You have survived the nights that felt endless. You have endured emotions that felt unbearable, and each time, you emerged with more resilience than you had before. Impermanence is not just a concept, it is a truth your own life continues to prove. Whenever your thoughts begin to spiral again, whenever the mind tells you that things will never change, gently place your attention on a simple mantra. Whisper it inwardly, like a message of comfort to your own heart. This too shall pass. Let the words settle into your breath. Let them soften your chest. Let them remind you that nothing has the power to imprison you, not fear, not sadness, not uncertainty. Everything moves, everything unfolds, everything transforms. Allow this understanding to wash over you like warm light. You are not meant to hold the heaviness of life forever. You are meant to experience it, learn from it, breathe through it, and let it move beyond you. With each reminder of impermanence, you create space for peace to enter. With each surrender, you become lighter. With each breath, you return home to yourself. And as the chapter of this moment eventually closes, you will step forward carrying a deeper, quieter strength, one rooted not in control, but in trust. This is the gift of impermanence. It frees you, it softens you, it opens you, and it reminds you, again and again, that even in your hardest moments, you are never stuck. You are simply passing through another wave of life, and the shore is always closer than you think.